which then brings me to the whole point that I do not expect IRCC to conduct a draw again next week because express entry. Let's talk about that. Hello and welcome. My name is Kubeir. I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant. This channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you should not with your Canadian immigration application. And first off the bat, I want to remind each one of you that if you are if you're an aspiring Canadian immigration individual, then you should always have an active express entry profile regardless of the score. It doesn't matter what your score is. If you're eligible, you should have your express entry profile always active in the pool, because you just do not know what can happen at what point of time, which province might suddenly be interested in your profile, what can IRCC come up and do. So always as a matter of practice, always have your profile active in the express entry pool. 5,500 invitations made yet again. Back-to-back draw hasn't happened in a very long time. I mean, really long time. It happened pre-COVID. I think I can't remember exactly, but I think it was the draw number 132 and draw number 133 that was a back-to-back. Before that, there was a draw number 123 and 124. I'm just trying to think of the series. I mean, these things sometimes they just stick in your head, right? When they have a back-to-back draw. And now we have draw number 237 and 238, which is also back-to-back. There have been, I mean, there was also another draw, but what these draws do, or what these back-to-back draws do, is that because they have happened, in very quickly, so 1 week and then the next week, that the number of people who get added into the pool, that number remains low because not much time has passed, and therefore the scores can drop drastically, or there is a big drop in the score, which is what happened in this particular draw, which happened on the 18th of January. This was a consecutive back-to-back draw from the 11th of January draw. The CRS score was 490. What is and how is it looking like as we move forward in express entry? So as of 18th of January, if 1,143 people were added into the pool in 1 week difference, so on a 2 week difference, which is the regular difference of the draws, you would have roughly 2,500 people who get added into the pool. If you have 2,500, and this is 500 plus, so then you're now looking at 490 plus, right? Because that 490 to 500 is also the range where people get added. So if there are about 2,500 people who get added into the express entry pool every 2 weeks, it basically means that when the next draw happens, the 480s, the 480 to 490, 481 to 490 is 11,783, which basically means for a lot of people to speculate that 2 more draws and 480s will be cleared out. It's not true, because 480s will not get cleared out in 2 draws. And I just explained to you, if in each draw, 2,500 approximately, can be more, can be a little bit less, but it won't be too less. It can't be less than 2,000, because we have been seeing since July, the number of people in the express entry pool with 500 plus have been quite exorbitant. So 2,500 is an average that I've been keeping an eye on. And if that is the number, then if there is a draw, for example, 4,500 invitations, let's say next draw is 4,500. It basically means this 2,500 would be with a score of 491 plus. And then the number of profiles that will get cleared from the 480 range would be only 2,000. And if it's only 2,000 people getting cleared, then the scores is not going to drop drastically in 480s range. And 480s is not going to get cleared out in 2 draws. This is the portion of calculation that most people who like to speculate and play with these numbers, they miss out on. They don't calculate that there are a number of people getting added as well. So as long as you have that information, that understanding in mind, you will be able to say that yes, below 490, we've already seen score of 490. Now below 490, you will definitely see in the next draw, which is in February, 1st February. I am not expecting a draw next week. I know a lot of you are now, because the back-to-back draw has happened, you're now thinking, oh, IRCC wants to compensate for all the missed draw. IRCC is not looking to compensate, guys. IRCC never looks to compensate. If that was the case, can you imagine what they should have been doing in the whole year of the year that has passed, the last 6 months? They should have been issuing, 8,000 invitations per draw. But no, they're not looking to compensate. They have a quota, they have a target to play with. This year's quota, this year's target is about 82,880. That's the quota for 2023. Plus 20,000. The 20,000 that I'm talking about are the PNPs, because in the express entry draw, you have the PNPs and you have the federal skilled workers and the Canadian experience class and your federal skilled trade categories. The 20,000 of PNPs is basically the 20% of the annual target, because the annual target for this year for PNPs is 105,000 people. People, not applications, people. Now, this 105,000 people, 20% of that is linked to express entry, because again, people forget that all PNPs are not express entry. There are tons of PNPs that are non-express entry. They are not linked to express entry. They are business immigration as well. There are a lot of other streams as well. So they are not linked to express entry, only 20%. So if 20% of that number is here, so we have a total of about 102,000 people that will get invited in express entry. Now, 102,000 people, not applications. Again, people get confused with this. They think it's 102,000 invitations. One invitation is not equal to the number of people, okay? Because in one invitation, you could have a family of 2, family of 3, family of 4, family of 5. I've seen a family of 7 as well. So, with that many number of people in one ITA means one ITA is not equal to the number of quotas, all right? And also with each draw, a lot of people decline their ITAs. A lot of people will get rejected, they will not complete their application. They will not put the correct PCC. They will not provide the correct marriage certificate. They will not provide the birth certificate of their child. Whatever the reason may be, applications do get rejected at the R10 stage. So calculating the number of, or rather the average number of, again, all this information is available on the IRCC website. You have to just look for it. It's under the open source data. The previous year's number of rejections, numbers of refusals, the average of number of refusals and rejection is about 32 to 33% of the total number of ITAs that they issue. Now, and this is including the decline. So people who decline their ITAs, people whose applications get rejected, etc., etc. So IRCC has to issue 30% more ITAs so that they can meet their annual quotas and targets. Also, based on the numbers and calculations, the way we have calculated, one ITA equates to or equals to 2.23 people to meet the quotas. Based on all these numbers, based on all these calculations, in my opinion, in my calculation, I expect the total number of invitations that will be issued in this year in 2023 is roughly 70,000, give or take a few. Could be 71, could be 72, could be 68, could be 69, but approximately that number. And this number can meet the target, immigration target for 2023 and portion of 2024, because you have to keep in mind this whole year, the number of people who will get approved will not come this year. They will also come next year and hence go towards a target of next year. A portion of this year's targets quotas have already been met by the invitations issued in 2022. So you take all these numbers into play, and trust me, sometimes it blows my top as to how these numbers work out. In my opinion, my speculation, the total number of invitations to be issued is 70,000. And because it is 70,000 and IRCC has now already issued 11,000, which basically tells you that only 59,000 invitations are remaining for the remainder of the year. Which then brings me to the whole point that I do not expect IRCC to conduct a draw again next week, because it doesn't make sense. I mean, they've done a back-to-back draw. That's all right. I don't expect them to do another back-to-back draw. It has never happened. If it happens, I mean, trust me, I will be dancing for sure, but I don't expect that to happen. They will go back to the regular bi-weekly draws. So therefore, my expectation is that the next draw will be on the 1st of February. And when the draw happens on the 1st of February, the scores is going to be in the range of about 487, 488. I'm not giving it too much of a drop because, as I said, the number of people who will get added into the pool, scores of 500 plus the number of people who will get cleared out from the 480s range is not going to be more than 2,000 to 2,500. This is assuming that the number of invitations issued is about 4,500, because, as I said, only 59,000 more invitations to be issued this year, which basically has to be spread out. And there is also a Bill C-19, which has been looming around the corner. And so, we have to keep that also in mind. Therefore, the expectation of 480s, and this is where it gets hopeful, 480s expectation is definitely to be cleared out within the next 2 to 3 to 4 months. So if we say even 2,000 480s get cleared out each draw, approximately 2,000, you're looking at about 5 to 6 draws approximately, again, because there is so much of assumption here as to how many invitations, how many people get added, so much of that assumption happening. So you would expect, or you would anticipate, between between 4 to 6, 5 to 6 draws is what you would say is when the 480s will get cleared out. That's when it hit 470s. The only thing is, it's extremely hopeful, extremely exciting, extremely prospective, promising for 480s, but for 470s, you're still on the tenterhook. You're still on the edge. You're still on the fence. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the Bill C-19 is also looming around. And when Bill C-19 comes into play, the whole face of express entry is bound to change, the way they conduct the draws. All that information we will have next month in February. That is when IRCC is expected to make the official announcement of what the categories would be for the Bill C-19 draw. So when that happens, we will all have a much better understanding, much better insight, much better view as to how Bill C-19 will look like and how that will be applied. The majority of people outside Canada are now going to switch. I mean, not that they were already not doing it, but towards the provincial nominee program. And the provincial nominee programs, in my opinion, my speculation, my understanding, are also going to start changing. Now, whatever are the categories for express entry, I'm assuming the PNPs are going to probably switch from that and choose different occupations, because if federal is going to choose them anyways, what's the point of provinces doing it? Or if provinces are also choosing some or similar of those categories, they would be at a significantly lower CRS range, which would then again open it up for people who are outside Canada. So it's not completely lost. It's not completely doom and gloom. There is opportunity. For example, Ontario. Okay, now Ontario, when they will conduct the Human Capital Human Capital Priority Stream draw, then it is going to be at this point of time with this higher cutoff at about 489 if it was to happen today. And then the lower cutoff will depend on how many people are in the pool with that particular knock code. If there is another draw, and I'm hoping Human Capital Priorities draw is held back for at least 1 month to 2 months. And the reason why I'm saying that is the lower they hold, I mean, the longer they hold the Human Capital Priorities Human Capital Priorities stream draw, the lower the cutoff range for the Ontario draw would be, giving big advantage to people in the 470s, and even 460s may just become possible just because of Ontario's opening up their range, but it'll all be in connection, in tandem with the express entry draw score. I hope you got the gist of what I'm trying to say, and therefore express entry is looking hopeful. It is looking indeed more promising than it has ever been over the last 6-7 months. That's basically it that I have for you for this presentation. So connect with us, of course, please, through social media, any of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're still here, then by all means, please do hit on that like button, hit on the subscribe button. We want to see those numbers going up. If you wish to make an appointment with me to discuss your profile, your background, your case one-on-one, then please, by all means, do. Please note, when you do make an appointment, it's not that I have any magical solutions. I don't have any magical pathways. I don't have any hidden pathways. Everything is there on IRCC website. All I can do is I can help you interpret some of the programs that you may have not understood properly, or you may have not been able to identify properly. But if you book a consultation and you think I will have some magical solution for you, I will not. I will probably only be able to explain to you and tell you what's already available. Most of it I tell you here anyways when I do my weekly roundups. So, but if you have any question, any doubt, any something about your application which is bothering you, then by all means do book a consultation and we can discuss that in one-on-one. And of course, if you wish to take up our services, then obviously we are a full-fledged immigration company. That is the email. Drop us an email. We'll be happy to handle your application for you, whether it's study, visit, work, LMIA, business immigration, startup visas. We do it all. That's it for me. Thank you so much for joining in. I shall see you next time. Until then, stay safe, take care, and stay forever hopeful.